the main point that I want to make in this episode is the idea that we need to heal from stories, not events. So let me explain what I mean by that. So often, people, when I work with them, they come in and they have so many people that I work with, there's trauma in their background, whether it's emotional or physical or sexual. We go through very difficult things as people. I remember being at a training once, and the lady said that nobody escapes childhood unscathed. And I thought that's a really good point, because everybody has gone through something that affects them, and it can create a negative experience in their mind when they think about that old event. And I think there's a misunderstanding, or I guess something that I've been able to, as I've kind of crystallized this idea, this has been fundamental to the work that I do with couples, because it's not so much the details of the event that we need to heal from, it's the story that we tell ourselves about what the event means. So again, I want to explain this. This is such an important thing, because I think it can give you a lot of hope, knowing you don't have to go back and rehash all the details of an event. Sometimes I work with people where the husband doesn't want to continue to go back into the past and talk about all the details and rehash everything that's gone on. And it seems like they get into fights anytime something's brought up from the past. And so I want to give hope and some direction to help you understand that it isn't the details, it's the story. And when I say story, what I mean by that specifically is it is the meaning that we make from the event that causes the most pain. Now, events, of course, in and of themselves can be painful. The thing that really brings us to another level of pain is the story. So let me give you, as I am trying to explain this, I want to give you like 3 or 4 or 5 different examples of what I mean, and then how you can apply this tool to be able to heal this pain. So I was working with somebody not too long ago, and she as well had a history of trauma, and her parents there was a lot of tension in the home. Then they divorced when she was young, and it created this sense of loneliness for her. She bounced back and forth between both homes. She didn't have stability, and she was kind of like, I don't know how do I say this? Like, she was being used by both parents as leverage against the other one. Like, they would try to pit her against the other parent. So it created just such a confusing and overwhelming, these interactions were so confusing and overwhelming for her, because she just felt like, I don't want to hurt the other person, yet I don't want to let the person that I'm like, if the mom is saying dad's doing all this stuff, he's bad, he does this, and she's thinking like, I don't want to be mad at dad, but I don't want to let mom down by saying, hey, I don't want to talk about this stuff. She was just in a very difficult place. And so over the course of her teenage years, the depression got worse and worse and worse, until the point there was just this break. And she went to a psychiatric hospital and was there for about 8 days. And her experience there was very painful. She was very lonely. But the thing that made it worse, exponentially worse, infinitely more difficult for her, was when she was there, her dad did not contact her at all. And she didn't have anybody that she felt like she could turn to in that moment when she was in this place, and her dad didn't reach out to her. So she carried with her the story that dad abandoned me. And the meaning that she made out of this was, dad abandoned me. When I say story, I mean meaning. Brene Brown, I use this word story because I take it from Brene Brown. So she's an author, and she talks a lot about shame and helping people heal from the inside. So she uses this word story. So what I mean by that is, again, it's the interpretation of the event. So the story that she says is, my dad abandoned me. I'm not important to him. Maybe I'm not important. I feel like I'm worthless. She developed this story, or this way of describing this event, which haunted her for decades. And so now I'm seeing her, and she's in her 50s. She recently had a conversation with her dad about 2 weeks ago. She went home, had a visit with him, hadn't spoken with him in a long time, and somehow this event came up. And she told him, which was huge for her, how she felt about what happened. And the dad, when he heard that she went